to The Toppling TBR. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Hannah. And this is Pineapple, because apparently she must be in the show today.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, today we're doing Tower of Dawn Part 2. We finished it. So we've got Part 2 is Mountains and Seas. And we'll jump into Nezryn and Sartak's storyline first. And they arrive at his Hearth family, and we meet Borte. How did you feel about Borte?
I love him. Love him. That's your favorite, isn't it?
She's my favorite. I love her so much. She's like...
The second I found her, I'm like, that's who Hannah was talking about. I knew it. I could tell. So I know you.
I love her so much. So she's like not... She's a side character, but she's got main character energy. Like, I... love every single scene she's in. She steals this show for me. So I love it. She's hilarious.
She is.
I really like how she is able to take Sartak, who we've known, obviously he's kind, right? But he's, got this more serious demeanor. He's not as playful, and she's able to like humanize him a little bit, bring him back down to earth for me. She's in her teasing and everything. I love it so much.
I kind of like Sartak.
Yeah. Really? Yeah, I feel like you and I have different tastes in males. I like him, but I definitely like the more... Chaol and Sartak are more, come on, people.
Mercurial.
Chaol and Sartak are more, by the book, just even keel, easygoing. I like the more playful, I guess, golden retriever type energy. I don't know. I didn't know that was my thing, but I do. I like it.
You totally are. That is who you are. Yeah. So, is your husband like that then?
He's got both sides. He's got his moments where he's, feeling himself and he's happy and playful, and he's got that, but he's also pretty chill most of the time. Cool. So I get the best of both worlds.
I like that.
So, but with Borte, I really like that we see there that like leadership doesn't necessarily have to be this like stiff, formal thing that we see everywhere else, and she brings in some playfulness to it. So I do love that. How'd you feel about her interactions with Nezryn?
You know what? I actually really liked their dynamic. I thought that they could see each other for who they were, like the badass women that they are. And I really, she's one of those people that cuts through the bullshit. You can see that she can see what's going on, and she's not happy to stand on the bylines. And Nezryn's kind of like that as well. Like I really like them as a dynamic.
I think that she is going to encourage Nezryn to like grow into her power and her identity a lot. But I really loved that it wasn't just Borte. It was like all of the Rukin. I loved that they were just like, welcome home. Welcome home. Yeah. And I think she's been longing for a place to feel accepted because she did not get that in Otterlin.
No, she really didn't fit there. She was trying to carve out a destiny that didn't quite work there. And I think what she's doing right now is spot on for me.
Yeah. So Borte is Hulhen's granddaughter. She will lead the Yrene clan one day, and she's got the small rook Arcus, and she's super proud of him. And I love that. That made me think, I'm like, I wonder whenever her and Manon see each other, if they're just gonna see each other's mounts and be like, I see you. You're a badass bitch, and you're riding this tiny little mount. I bet that mount is amazing too, because Abraxos is, small too. I loved that. How do you think Borte and Aelin would get along?
Ooh, you know what? Seeing the way Aelin has been over these books with like the hiding stuff, I don't think she's gonna like that too much, because she likes people to be upfront with her. And Aelin is very much a secret keeper, and I don't think that would mesh so great. They're both really incredible women. And I think fighting together would be magnificent. I could see there being a little head button there.
You could see them clashing.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm like, on a surface level, I think with their playful banter and like teasing of people's stuff, I think they would just get along famously. And that might build trust to where she would want to open up to her. But I could see that. Yeah. Borte likes to be in the know.
Yeah, she doesn't, and don't lie. Like, she strikes me as the kind of person that's like, you tell me a lie, but even if it's by omission, I will cut you. Like, that's kind of how she comes. She likes upfront, even if she doesn't want to hear, even if it's like, look, I have this information, but I'm not going to tell you this, because at least you can respect that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Aelin doesn't even do that. Like, she keeps everyone very much in the dark, and we can see just how bad that is.
She's gotten better. She told everybody everything at the end of, Empire of Storms, right? I think it was that book.
Yeah, but Aelian's still really, like...
I was about to say, not everything, though. Just enough to where they feel like they're in the know.
Yeah, he's still pretty salty.
Yes, he is. Okay, so the Rukin feel like they're one of the freest societies that we've seen in this whole series. And we see, that they're led by women, which
Yes.
I absolutely love. That's not an exception. That's just their natural order. And I think that was so empowering for Nezryn because of her past. She's used to all these male-dominated structures that, we see in Otterland. Even with her job, she never got promoted, and she opens up about that to Sartak. So not only are they saying welcome home, and not only is this where she's from, I just feel like she probably has this huge sense of like she feels like she belongs now, I think, and I love that for her.
I do too. I think that was really important to watch her character grow away from Chaol as well, is to see her authentic self shining through finally.
Yes, I agree. So then Hulhan is the Hearth mother, and I feel like she's a kindred spirit to me, at least. She's a story keeper. She goes wherever the wind takes her. I feel like she's one with the land, So I enjoy, and she doesn't have she's in it as much as like Borte and other characters, but her role isn't as like dominating, I guess, as the other people.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so she's not there, so they decide that they're going to stay and they're going to wait for her. And in the meantime, we know how badass how badass Nezryn is with an arrow, but everybody else gets to see that. And I enjoyed that. She was like, boom, boom, boom. And she did it multiple times. She's badass.
She was flexing something chronic, but she's incredible. I actually, the more that we read and find out about her, the more I really am loving her. Really loving her.
Well, I feel like she didn't show a lot of personality in the beginning, and now that she's able to step away from her work, she was in work mode. So now that she's still working, but she's also like, exploring other parts of her that I think she was trying to hide for so long.
Yeah, and that's a real shame because I don't think anyone should have to hide who they are inside to get by. No, it's been, I have very much enjoyed her journey. Very much enjoyed it.
So then Hulhan, which they also call Edge, shows up, and she's with Falcon. And Falcon is the same merchant that Selena met in Assassin's Blade. But then she tells them that, she calls... Okay, cat, get down. She calls them Karenqui, but we know them as Stygian spiders, that they're in the mountains and that they've been stealing hatchlings and eggs and all of that. And we also learn that the Karenqui are Vogue. Yeah. And after the war... the Fae had fled there and set up watchtowers and all that with all of these traps for them. So, Nezryn and Sartak sneak off to go to the first tower, which I don't really remember why they snuck off, but whatever.
I think they were trying to keep the knowledge of the Volg quiet, because the more people that know, the more chance everyone will find out what they're up to. So they've been trying to keep it quiet at that point. Because I actually wrote a note on that. I actually made notes. They were legible this week.
So they go, and I actually really enjoyed this first tower scene because, I mean, you feel like Sartak is probably super intelligent, but he's probably also never, I don't know if he's never been in a situation like that, but he's about to walk into this tower that they're aware of is full of traps. So I liked seeing Nezryn's brains and being like, no, let me throw these rocks. Yeah. I saved your life.
Yeah.
But they both saved each other's lives, which, glad they were there. And then they go find Fae blades, which is really cool that they're able to stay sharp forever. I like that. And so that was a cool moment until they look up and they see a spider there. But then freaking Falcon is a shapeshifter, and he comes out as a wolf. And I know that you messaged me on that, and I'm like, hell yes, that's awesome.
It was, I was like, oh, spider. I was like, oh, brilliant. I was like, oh, spider. 'Cause I'm so scared of spiders. Yeah. So this book really, it was hard because everything is giant and they're talking, and I don't like it.
Yeah, but I liked this scene a lot because we know how the world, humans and Fae view shapeshifters. So I really liked the moment that Falcon needed to step up, that he didn't shy away from that, and he was just like, hey, this is who I am.
Yeah.
So he was able to save them, and they go back, and Borte, we see here in her I need to know everything. She's like, tell me what's happening, tell me what's going on. And Nezryn does, which I'm glad.
I am too. No, I was going to say that was because I was really worried they were going to keep her in the dark, and that just felt wrong.
Yeah. I get trying to protect your secrets from everyone, 100%. Duh, that makes sense. But at the same time, the more people who know what's going on, you're going to fare better in this war.
Yeah. They were I think they were hoping that the more people that knew, there was a chance that the Volg would come across it and get the message back that they know, and they know how to fight, and they know where the work is. I can see what they were trying to accomplish too, but sometimes it has to be a balance between who you trust and how many people know. Yeah, I was really glad when she told her, because I'm like, oh my god, don't lie, because I don't think this is going to do you any favors. Don't lie.
Same. So then Sartak immediately comes up and is like, hey, who has the word keys? So he knows more than he's even letting on to. I feel like everybody's starting to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Which is necessary.
Yeah.
Then they have a moment around the hearth fire where they ask Nezryn to tell a story, but she instead sings a song. I thought that was beautiful.
I thought that was a really clever way of making her stand out as well, because she has such a beautiful singing voice.
Yeah, it does. She does. But I also really enjoyed that. I know she's from Otterland, so she doesn't have a lot of, resources to pull from. But I really liked that she was able to take this song from Otterland, which is viewed, with so much darkness and distaste and everything because the king was ruling it for so long, and bring it into the light and share it in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
It was just that to me. It was beautiful.
It was for me too. There was some really beautiful moments in the second part of this book.
Yeah.
Especially with how boring the first part was.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Like I said, I didn't read it slow enough to realize how boring the first part was.
Until you realize how fast-paced and how action-packed part 2 is.
For sure. So after that, they go off to the other watchtowers, and Borte and Falcon. Borte is badgering Falcon with all these questions. And I was giggling. I'm like, what does it feel like to be a duck? What is this? Do you swim in circles? I absolutely love it. And I love how accepting she is of him. She's obsessed with him because, I don't know, I understand the fear, because if they're not a kind person, they could deceive anybody and everybody, as we see, with Lysandra pretending to be a queen.
She takes the face. Could you imagine that? Someone takes your face and does horrible things in your name with your face?
Yeah, but it also kind of shows that Borte does have a more trusting nature. Or she trusts her grandmother, because her grandmother brought him into their home.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't do that if she thought that he was a bad person. But I absolutely love that. So we see Borte is, kind of obsessed with him, and Sartak is kind of reserved and, hesitant to trust him at all. But while they're there, I think it's called the Burlad area, Yrene's army shows up, and they're missing rooks as well. They're missing hatchlings as well. And we also find out that Borte and Yrene are betrothed. What do you think about that pairing?
It's so weird, because they're the way they talk to each other, I was like, ooh, clearly they don't like each other. And then it's like, oh yeah, we're betrothed. And I'm like,
it's weird, right?
But at the same time, they're not faking it around each other. They're being authentic to who they are. They're not trying to pretend. And I think I kind of liked that. But it was really, I'm like, how is your marriage going to be? How is the sex life going to be?
Probably fun. Because, you see Borte even with Sartak, who she loves, and he's a prince, so she should treat him with respect, Yeah, and she's like, oh yeah, and making fun of your slippers, or whatever she's doing with him. So I think she just likes that banter and the competition, and she doesn't like boring. If you can't tell, she's just a creative, active mind.
Oh yeah. She's, you know what? She kind of reminds me of Yrene in the way that she seems like she knows steps ahead too. She may look like she's not thinking, but I bet she really is plotting. She knows what's going on. Yeah, I actually really liked her. It's funny, because as soon as you said your favorite character was in this section, and as soon as I read, I was like,
yeah, love her. I love her. So then they arrive at the last tower. They realize that they're using the hatchling as bait, or as a trap. So we realize that as Kadara flies into the giant web and gets stuck.
Yes, that was traumatic for me. Traumatic.
I know. I love Kadara so much.
Yeah. I was so worried that what was going to happen that I almost walked away. And I'm like, I'm not prepared for this yet.
Yeah. It's great stuff. There's so many instances, too, where you're like, how are they going to get out of this? But so then Sartak and Nezryn fall off. They're tied together. Sartak takes the brunt of the force, which is sweet of him. And then the spider kills the baby. Which I did not like that scene at all, and how they said its leg went through it. I was like, no.
Those spiders and me, there was a tiny one in the basement. I screamed, and I didn't go downstairs for 2 days. Giant spiders is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But the spiders are one thing, but seeing the little baby get speared and killed, I was like, I have such a soft spot for these, rooks and wyverns and all of this. Allies in this series that are, partnering up with humans and Fae alike to defeat this dark one. I have such a soft spot for them. They're so smart. They're so kind. I love them. That made me really sad. But then, more spiders emerge and they run. And Sartak gets stuck in this passageway and kind of thinks he's going to die. And he tells Nezryn that he's been in love with her since before he ever even met her.
Hot. My bloody heart. And that's where I fell in love with him.
Yeah, is it?
That was it. Chaol? Who's Chaol?
I do really like Sartak. I really like their dynamic because we see this like hot and heavy enemies to lovers in almost every other relationship, and theirs is not that. Theirs is like a slow building respect,
friendship,
leading to trust. They're leading to trust. Yeah, it's completely different than all of the other than what we usually see in the series.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the way they have kind of come together too. It was sweet and it was gentle and it was nurturing over the passion side of things, and I think that worked really well for the pair of them.
I do too. I think that they both need that. They're not, they don't have that sassy, playful, I want to fight and then have sex kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's either one of them.
No, but it worked. It worked for me. It worked for me really well. I felt very connected to their story as it's been going along. Really connected.
Okay, so side note, still in the same area, but side note, did you notice how many times SJM used the word Chaol?
No. Yes, actually, yes, I did. Because I wasn't sure what she meant. And I had to Google it.
I Googled it the first time I read it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, because I Googled it, I'm like, there's so many. So this time I started tallying it up. And I was reading kind of fast, but I got 15 tallies. So it's 15 or more times that she uses the word Chaol within like 2 chapters.
Yeah. It's funny because now you say that. And I was like, what is that? Because I thought maybe it was some kind of like psychic mind power or something. And I was like, that was
rocks or something.
It's like, what did you just wrote that?
Not that exciting. Freaking Chaol needed its own POV chapter. Like, what? I should have turned it into a drinking game. But
yeah, I'd be dead after the fourth.
On a read through, I'm gonna play drinking game with Chaol, and then I'm not gonna remember anything else that happens afterwards.
That's brilliant. Yeah, that's so funny that you brought that up because I was like, what is that now?
Yeah, I have 15 tallies in my notebook.
That's crazy. That's a lot of time to use a word. That's a lot of times to use a word.
Agreed. Anyway,
I wonder if you got paid per word. Hey, use this word so many times, we'll give you 10 grand.
You lost a bet, and they're like, hey, I bet you won't.
That's awesome.
So, all right, so Nezryn is trying to buy time. Falcon's trying to chew through her bindings. So she asks the Karen Queen to tell her a story. And in that story, we learn that they're waiting for their dark majesty and that Maeve is a Val'Queen.
Yep. You were like, message me when you get to the big part. I couldn't put the book down to pick up my phone.
I know. I was like, she didn't message me. I wonder if that hit her as hard.
Did. I was like, this is what Hannah meant. And I'm like, I will text Hannah. I'm like, I need to finish. And I just kept going. And then I forgot.
Yeah. So that was it. Because in, I think it's Empire of Storms, Selena or Aelin asks Brandon, she's like, is Maeve Valg? And he was like, no. So I just kind of like wrote that off. Like, she's not.
Yeah.
I found that out, I was like,
she haunted all. Yeah. Well, we find out why. But
yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, and I did not see that coming. Not even a little bit.
Yeah. Same.
I'm like, what? Momo. I thought they were all boys too.
Yeah. Yeah. And we learn in this book they are not.
Makes sense how they.
Yeah. So all 3 kings wanted Maeve, but obviously she's going to go for the most powerful and she's going to marry Orcus. And then she gets bored and learns how to pierce the veil between the worlds, and she enters their world. And then also it said that the spiders were her handmaidens, which I thought was kind of funny.
God, it's just all of this whole book gave me the creeps.
Yeah. So they're there to guard the gate to make sure, that no one follows her because, they're hunting. So the kings come into the world, but they're hunting for her. So Maeve was able to rip into Mab and Moira's minds and change their entire, and not only them, but all of the people that lived there too, and make them believe that there was a third Val'Queen the whole time.
She did that without the collars or rings. She just did that.
The power.
The power, man. I'm like, she did that without items.
So, like, honestly, that amount of magic I think is the most, and I don't necessarily mean impressive in a good way, but like that is the most impressive magic I think we've seen in the entire series. And we knew that she could alter people's realities because we saw it with Rowan and Lyria, right?
Yeah.
But that's on such a smaller scale than like an entire civilization. Like the entire world believed it.
Yeah.
Like, not
That's
even
crazy.
on their continent. So wild, right?
Yes.
Okay, so she stole the keys and sent the 2 kings back. So those kings are not dead. They are just back in the other realm.
Right.
So we also learned that Valg are scared of fire, or all Valg are scared of fire. And so Sartak cuts his hair off and offers it up for her to shoot these flaming arrows. So that was sweet.
Yeah.
But then Falcon turns into a freaking spider and lures them away. So, like, his power is growing because initially he was like, I can't manage anything larger.
Well,
He's
because
able
magic
to
was gone for a while, right? So he's probably
What?
just stopped. Magic was gone from.
Yeah, but I think that he had said initially that he didn't have that power before the magic was gone. I think that he was like, no, that was my brother's power. And then so now that was his reasoning behind why he wasn't so strong and why he didn't have as much control over it.
Oh, that's crazy because he is pulling off some. Not the
Yeah.
songs are amazing, but still.
And it makes you wonder, like, if he's had this much growth and, like, able to, take control over it in this amount of time, like, how much stronger is he going to get? Like, does he have a cap on that power? Is he going to be able to learn and grow as the series continues?
Oh, that's fascinating. That's a really good question.
Yep. So he turns into a spider. He tells them that he will hold them as a favor. He's accepting his death, and that he has a niece that he's been looking for his whole life. His fortune belongs to her, all of that. And it was kind of like sad, but also peaceful, because I feel like he's just been like wandering his whole life. Other than looking for his niece, he hasn't really had a purpose.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was his, like, I'm going to die with purpose. Finish my journey.
Yeah, that was the honor in that.
Yeah, there was. So one of the spiders leaps for him, and Borte shows up, and her rook knock it off the cliff. So Kadara had went and got all the other rook riders, and they all shot their flaming arrows, and they completely lit it up. They burned Doggenfells. And I like that. Yeah. So somehow, let's see. Somehow they make it back to the area. Everyone's alive, even though, we thought people were going to die. That's a theme in this book. Or not just this one, this series. I always feel like people are going to die, and then I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it happens a lot. I'm like, I don't even know how you're going to get out of this. And then they're like, get out of this. And I'm like...
Yeah. So they get back to the area, and Nezryn steps up and is like, hey, I'm going to give you guys a speech. We're not fighting human and fae. We're fighting demons. Like, we got a Val'King and a Val'Queen here, and we really need everybody to fight with us. So
and they're not even on the same side, really. Like, there's 2 battles, like...
I know. It's not like, I don't know. So they invite everybody to join, and she also tells Falcon that she suspects that Lysandra is his niece. Yeah. Were you expecting that?
As soon as I found out he was a shifter, I knew they had to be related somewhere. I kind of thought maybe the dad, but it was actually, you know what? It was nicer that that's not the way they went, because the dad abandoned the mum, right?
Yeah. So he would have been
this way it doesn't. Anyway. I didn't hate him because that wasn't his choice. Like Anissa's. I really hope they get to meet, even if let's say they were wrong and they weren't related, knowing that she has someone just like her, like that would be enough for me. But yeah, I thought that was really heartwarming.
I agree. So after that whole speech, a messenger shows up and says, there's trouble in Antica and they need Nezryn back. So she goes back. So let's go back to Chaol and Yrene's beginning, and we'll go through them.
Yes.
So his healing is moving along. He can, I think, move up to his knees by the beginning of this. And Nusha ends up telling them that, there are caves in the desert that have the information that they're seeking.
Yeah.
So Yrene is going to get her Hussar to take her there. But then shortly after that, Chaol and Yrene go on their little dinner date. And it was so sweet.
It really was sweet. Really sweet.
But, like, getting to see it, Chaol was like, this is the first time in my life that I've ever had dinner as just Chaol. I was like, and I thought back through all of it, and I'm like, you're absolutely right. Like, he's never been free. And Yrene, similarly, in the same way, she's a workaholic, but Chaol's was more touching to me because, I don't know, his was almost like a form of enslavement and not, his choice to be bettering people and bettering himself. I enjoyed their little dinner.
I really did too. I thought it was sweet. Like, I'm enjoying watching Yrene kind of open up, and as he's kind of opening up too, and it's slow and deliberate. I don't normally like slow burn stuff, but what's going on between them is, I enjoyed that immensely. Yeah, they really do. They make each other work for it.
Yes, they do.
You're right. You are right.
Yeah. So, shortly after that, Hussar shows up and tells them about Dorian and Aelin in Skulls Bay and that they fought the Duke's armies. And then Hussar is like, Chaol, do you swear on Yrene's life that Aelin won't, force her armies upon us and, they'll liberate our land? And Chaol doesn't say anything. Either to swear on someone who you really care for his life, because Aelin is hot-headed.
Yeah.
But
You can't guarantee what someone else is going to do.
No, you can't. And this scene was more showing of Hussar's character. So my first read through, I actually liked Hussar. And this time through, I didn't like her at all. She's an asshole. And she's manipulative.
Yeah.
Like,
That's exactly what I got from this book too. I could feel that everything that comes out of her face is to cut you.
yeah.
To bring you down a little bit, to show a weakness. And I didn't appreciate that.
Oh, she's mean. So it's
Yeah.
weird because I was reading it and I'm like, how did I like her on the first read? Did I think she was funny? Like, I don't know. I didn't like her at all this time. She had like a mild redeeming moment at the end, but that was it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Because I kind of liked her as well. And now I'm like,
yeah, the second part shows her character quite a bit.
yeah, and I didn't like that, but I don't know if that's because they're vying for the right of succession, right? And I'm like, is that why she's being like this?
Power trip, maybe.
Yeah, is she tripping? But I don't know. But yeah, I was like, they're being much classier than I would have been. I know she's royalty, but seriously.
So after, let's see, Caution, after they hear that information, is like, I understand war, I understand my siblings, I want to go help you fight, which I like Caution, so that was nice of him.
Yeah.
And then after that, Chaol crashes the Coggins meeting with his vizier. Do you like that one?
Did, because that's really, for me, that's really out of step for how Chaol usually conducts himself. Because I think he was channeling Dorian a little bit.
I think so too. I was like, Chaol, you got some big balls. All right, I'll take it.
I thought it was brilliant. I'm like, that is so out of character, but it worked. It worked for me. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was clever. I thought it was dangerous. That could have gone so wrong.
He's on a time crunch, and he sees this moment where he can capitalize on this guy being here and getting weapons for the war. His he's probably also feeling the stress and the pressure a little bit more because he went there, right, to heal and to get them on their side, and he hasn't accomplished either at this point.
No, and it's taking ages too. Like, the time is moving and there's very little gain. And we noticed that in the first part of the book, not much really was accomplished.
Right. So yeah, he ends up, buying these fire lances, and then the Coggin kicks him out, and Shin has to be the one to take him out. And I'm like, that's so sad because they have such like a mutual understanding and respect for each other. So I didn't like.
No, but they had to do his job, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you do your job?
Also, though, Chaol has to understand that because he had to do things he didn't want to do, via orders.
Yeah, but he also understands the ramifications of doing things blindly as well now. So that must have been weird for him.
Yeah, but I mean, he's just taking him out of a meeting. He got what he wanted at the end of the day. So, it's a win.
He's lucky to walk out with his head. If that had been me in there and he came and busted in on my stuff, I would have chopped your frickin' head off. You'd be done.
Right? Well, good thing it was in the southern continent and not up in Rifthole, because that probably would have been the outcome, if so.
And it would have just been done right there. Fanfare. Rolling away. Carrying on with your conversation,
So after that, we see Chaol being a little bit down, I think, because, he's being hard on himself. And so he's telling Yrene that he wants to be able to fight and he wants to be able to die by his men. And we see Yrene and she's like, get up. Then get up. And I love how she basically taunts him into walking. So he gets up, he steps, he walks after her, all of that. And her tricking him into it was so clever. Like, I don't know. And he's rewarded with a makeout session, which that's nice.
But that tells you that she understood who he was at his core and what she needed to do to get him on his feet moving.
Right.
Because he wouldn't have done that otherwise, and she knew what she had to do, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. She really gets him. And I don't remember what he had said, but he mentioned that he had said something and he saw her put up a wall and that he wouldn't be able to get through it again. So did you think that she was actually mad at him and that she had actually put up that wall? Or did you understand what she was doing? Did it take you till the end to understand?
Wondered if she was playing a game with him because she kind of, it was the way she was doing it, didn't seem logical. If you're angry, you just leave, right? You just,
Yeah.
yeah, you just go. You don't wait around. So I could see that what she was doing was she was trying to elicit a specific reaction. I wasn't sure what exactly she was trying to accomplish, but yeah, it was clever. She is quite clever.
Love her.
Me
I
too.
love everybody in the series.
Yeah, there's not many people that I haven't vibed with in some way, shape, or form. It's
Yeah.
nice.
SJM writes character growth really, really well.
Oh yeah, that's where she excels for me, is in the character. She does some really great world building, but the characters really, they set the stage.
I agree. This is the series I think that I've connected with the characters most out of any other series I've read. And I think that's why this puts us up there. Like, it's probably my favorite series ever, is because you get so attached to everybody. You love them all so much.
Yeah, and you feel it inside too. Like
those are my babies.
Yeah, it's deep. It cuts deep when they get hurt too, and things don't go right.
Yes. Okay, so after that, Hussar has agreed to go to the desert for Yrene's birthday.
Yeah.
Chaol gets for Russia his little horse named Butterfly.
I thought it was so funny. I thought it was so funny because that's just like, that's one slap for what the name of the horse is, and the second slap for the temperament. Like,
I know.
It was
like her though.
Yeah. That'd be my kind of
horse. At the end of the book that he gets to keep her, so she'll grow on you. I like her. Yeah. She's a good horse for him. And you see his stubbornness and he's like, no, I'm gonna make this work.
Yep. So, he doesn't like to ask for help either, though.
No, he absolutely does not. But at that scene, we see him and Yrene race. And I loved, just because she was scared, like she was hesitant, right? And then you like look over and see this pure joy on her face. And I don't think, she probably hasn't ever felt that free or that light in her life. So I loved that scene.
Me too.
So once they're there, they learn that the land was, blessed with healers and magic and all of that. And they see all of these carvings of Fae warriors fighting Valg. And I think it was from like before Elena and Brandon's time. So we learn that Fae were buried there and that they've like put some of their healing magic into the land and it's bred into the bloodlines there, which was really cool. Kind of like their little way to be like, cool, let's give you guys a fighting chance. Because I think they were aware of how important the healer's role was in this.
Yes. You know what? I was really intrigued by this whole storyline about the healers and their part they're going to be playing. I was very intrigued.
Yes, I really enjoyed it too. So they go back and at dinner, Hussar's being a bitch. Mm-hmm. And she's like, talking shit on everybody, and then says that, Aelin should marry one of her brothers. And then we learn that they all know of Rowan, because everybody knows of Rowan. And then she's like, well, Yrene should marry one of my brothers. Chaol can give her a title. Chaol's like, no. And then as soon as Sar starts talking shit on Chaol, Yrene pushes her in the pool. How did you feel in that moment? What did you think was going to happen?
Bark laughed so hard. I threw my head back. I cackled like a witch. I was dying of laughter. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh shit. She could be in real trouble for this.
Yeah.
Like, uh-oh.
It starts off with, yes, hell yeah. And then it's like, oh, wait, hold on.
Wait a minute. What did I just do?
I honestly think Irene's probably the only person who could have gotten away.
Yeah. I think how her brothers reacted to kind of set the stage for that too, because if they had suddenly turned around and said, what is the meaning of this? I think that it may have gone differently, but the brothers kind of de-escalated the situation.
Yes. They definitely helped save her life.
Oh yeah. That was something. I could see it in my mind's eye and I'm like, that's brilliant. Because in my head, she's like a little tipsy, right? Like she's a little drunk.
Oh yeah.
Like, can you imagine like a drunk person like boot fucking somebody into the water? It was a great scene. I was so glad it happened.
Me too. Someone needed to put her in her place.
Yeah, it was about time because she was getting a little much.
Yes, agreed. So then Chaol and Yrene leave and they go back in their tent and Irene's asking him about Aelin. And, Chaol says that he doesn't love her or Nezryn anymore. Yeah. And that he tells her about their breakup and he said that it didn't go well and that he handled it badly and she handled it badly. And I'm like, She handled that with so much grace, like a queen. I mean, maybe the breakup part with like the whole Nehemia building up to it, yes, but like with regards to their reunion,
Yeah, you know what? Because I was like that too. When I first read that, I'm like, were you there, mate? And then I'm like, you know what? She did promise him that she'd always pick him. And then she came back and she brought her prince in tow before she'd even said anything. You know
she
what I
didn't
mean?
come back with Rowan. Rowan joined later.
No, I know, but as far as he's concerned, like she
Yeah.
didn't say anything. You have to look at this from Chaol's perspective. What did he know? He knew she came back and that she had a mate.
He was booty hurt.
Yeah, he was so butthurt. It wasn't even funny. But she didn't say, hey, by the way, I met someone. Like he had to find out all this stuff. She didn't say anything. Like I think that's what he meant was that
That's how she handled it badly, I guess.
Yeah.
I took it as like I'm replaying their reunion and she's like biting her tongue and he's like throwing things at her. I'm like, okay, Chaol.
Yeah, I think it was more the fact that they were gone.
Okay.
They felt he waited for her too, right? Because that's what he said.
Yeah.
He was even though he knew he was still holding out that hope, and she come back and she just shit all over it. It's just like I wasn't thinking about you. I met someone else. Fuck you. Like, can you imagine how that must have felt too for him?
Yeah,
It's like he was kind of waiting. I don't know. Because I was the same way as you. I was like, she didn't say or do anything.
Yeah.
You, bro. But I think it was more the fact that the situation wasn't.
Yeah, I think so too. And it shows more of that later. But like whenever I first read that scene, that's what I took it as. And I was like, no, you liar.
Yeah. Yeah, like a light pants on fire. You just don't want to take the blame here. But I kind of get the feeling that he felt really, I don't know, he felt really hurt there, yeah. He was devastated in a way. Even if he didn't know, he was still that must have hurt because he did wait. He was hoping. Idiot.
You know. So then he gives Yrene the locket that he had personally engraved for her with the mountains and the seas and all of that for her note. That was such a thoughtful gift.
That was beautiful. Like I didn't even know he had that in him.
I didn't either. Like I really didn't. I didn't. I love it. I love that she's able to bring that out in him and that he's so perceptive.
Yeah.
So she then tells him that she didn't make it across the seas on her own, that she had help. And like that's another moment where I was like, why not tell him? You've been seeing her face. Why not tell him? But I'll come back to that later though, because I caught something else later that I was like, oh, I think that's why. So they go back to Antica early because they're like, we need to take this knowledge back. And Chaol's room is completely trashed. Whoever took everything except for they didn't find something in a boot. I feel like if you're going to trash a room, you're probably going to like check shoes out. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's okay. So Yrene goes and takes it to Hafisa, right? And we learn that Hafisa can't read it, but that she does, in fact, have a iron case full of books that are not for humans' eyes.
Yeah.
And she tells her, you know, the myths that she's heard that, you know, Antica was built on the ruins of the Fae and that they are in very thick sarcophagi because they didn't want anybody getting in. And so I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, obviously it's the Valg that they don't want getting in, right? Because they don't want them. But whenever in the beginning, in one of the earlier books, it said that if the king wielded all three word keys, that he would be able to have an army of the dead. And so I'm wondering if because the three kings were there, all three keys were there, that they had to build such thick coffins because they could get in and use their dead bodies and their dead Fae magic.
Yeah, well, because that's what the Egyptians did too, that's why their sarcophagi was so heavy, was so that the dead wouldn't rise. So yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, because I was like, oh wait, the three keys were there during this time, so...
That makes sense. I actually didn't spot that until you just said that.
Well, good. Okay, so then Yrene goes to the bells, and I loved this scene. Loved it. That she just, like, felt this pull, like, let me ding my bell and follow it. Like, I love how the gods here, like, help guide everybody through things and to find what they need to find. So she finds, what is her name? Let me see. I put it down. Jaffa Towers. Her bell from 200 years ago. And then she comes to the realization, you know, A, people of Otterland are not her enemies, and B, this creature that she's been trying to heal in Chaol is symbolic of and very similar to the creature that is in herself.
Yeah.
And that she understands. That was a beautiful moment for me. I really loved that scene.
I did too. I think that she finally let that go and knew how to help, and that was I really enjoyed that.
Yes, that was amazing in its own, but I really like the way that it played out in my mind of like her ringing the bell and just like following it and like it echoing. Like it was so cool in my mind. Like I don't know, I like whatever my brain did with that. So let's see, that was a big growth moment for her for sure. So
Oh,
she now has a
huge.
theory and she's like, I'm gonna heal Chaol. I'm gonna end this today. So in Chaol's final healing journey moment, he has to come face to face with pretty much everything that he's ever endured that has any kind of trauma or lasting impact, you know, negatively for him. And
Yeah.
I really, really liked the scene. And this brings back up the Aelin thing. He sees Rowan and Aelin and sees their bond and how close they are with each other. And he realizes that she actually did wait for him in not pursuing that sooner.
Yeah.
And that she honored him. And I think that was big for him because that is
Yeah.
absolutely what he was hanging on to and what was eating him up about it because he thought,
Yeah.
you know, she lied to him.
Yeah.
But she did it.
No,
And
she
so
did. She did. I thought that she was. That I always felt like she had him in the back of her head. It didn't feel like she was dishonoring him. But how would you know that on the outside?
yeah, but we see she's like heartbroken over him the whole time. She
Yeah.
refused to take off the ring. Like she
Yeah.
very much still loved him.
But that's what I mean. But Chaol didn't know that, and
Yeah.
how would he have known that, right? But we see what happened, so that's how we knew that Aelin was the better person
Right.
here. But trying to see
Right.
it from, because that's what I did. I had to stop and think from Chaol's perspective. What can he see here? What does he know? And that's, he felt
For
betrayal.
sure.
Yeah, I liked that too. I liked watching him fix that within himself.
Me too. So he understands now.
Yeah,
And there was one thing he said to her. He was like, "What if we go on only to more pain and despair?" And she said, "Well, then it's not the end." And I love that. And we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
She's gonna have to hold on to that a little bit through the next book and remember her own words. So Yrene shows up in his healing journey and tells him, you know, the darkness belongs to you and it'll only grow if you let it. So like, be kind to yourself, love yourself. I love you. So after that, Chaol is, you know, a new man. He's got no pain. He's all healed finally.
Yeah.
And then he, you know, mentions, he's like, hey, you said you love me. And they tell each other that they love each other. And this is where I said, I was like, I'll come back to this. So she makes a comment in it, and she doesn't make a comment. She has a thought. And she says she had not seen much of the beginning. She'd only broken into his memories in time to see that beautiful dark-haired man, Dorian, smiling at him. But she had sensed it, known who had given him that recent scar. So I think she's under the impression that Dorian is the one that gave him the scar.
Yeah. I kind of thought that as well.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that as well. Because I think
they
it's
made it-
muddled.
Yeah, because she made a comment in the first part, and she's like, I know who gave you that scar. But she's under the impression that it's Dorian, and we are under the
Dorian.
impression that she actually knows who gave him that scar.
Yeah, that became very clear in this one as well. But it
So
must be really muddled in his head. Like everything must be quite, like not linear for him.
Yeah, but in her thinking that it's Dorian, that to me makes a little bit more sense as to why she wouldn't bring it up, because she doesn't know Dorian, so it doesn't directly impact her.
Yeah.
And he's probably, you know, had to go through this weird journey in her mind of forgiveness, or maybe he did something super wrong because he still has so much love for Dorian that she's seen. It's probably, she probably knows it as a touchy subject. So it makes sense why she hasn't brought it up now.
Yeah, no, it did to me too. It actually, that actually makes complete sense. That brick sits nice and flush.
So then Chaol tells Yrene that she has a place on his ship, and he tells her the backstory and the history of pretty much everything that they saw while they were healing. And she learns that Aelin and Dorian had burned the Valg, and we learn that fire isn't a super popular form of healing, but it is a form of healing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. And we learn that she believes that the Valg is a parasite, and that she will be able to heal people. And she thinks she's being hunted because of that knowledge, which makes sense.
Makes sense.
We also learn that Athral's ring, the immunity ring for the Valg, was forged by Silba and not by Mala.
Yes, that was kind of a shocker for me.
Yeah, it was cool.
I don't know. It was, I'm like, whoa.
I like that. But I mean, I feel like of all the gods that we've met, talked to, learned from, and all of that, honestly, I like Mala, but I feel like Silba's my favorite. I love the healers. Healers are just like innately, they're kind, they're, you know, growth-minded, all of that. I feel like they have less room for, you know, this revenge mindset that other gods kind of show.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you.
So then Hussar shows up and she tells them of the battle between Maeve and Aelin. And she was able to see, the wyverns, the extra ships, all of that. So she now knows how much power Aelin's side has. But also that people saw Aelin walking away because it was Lysandra. So they're all, under the belief that everything is fine. When in fact, we know it is not.
Yes.
So also learned that Aelin had written Hussar.
Yeah, that was quite the surprise. I was not expecting that because I thought, having sent Chaol there, that's where she would have left it. But it kind of felt like she didn't trust Chaol to get the job done.
I mean, yes and no. I think that regardless, he's going to be the one to go butter everybody up and get the ball moving. But I think, Aelin's not going to let anybody do her job when she's perfectly capable of doing it herself. And also, if Chaol goes and promises all this stuff for her, but then she's not actually the one to do it,
you're right there. You're right. It was funny because when she said, she sent me a letter, I'm like, she sent him there as a person. And then she sends a letter. For me, I'd be like, well, you didn't fucking trust me to give me the message? Like, what the fuck is that?
Right. Like, well, what am I here for?
That makes sense. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That does make sense. I can get it from Ayla's perspective. From Chaol's, I would have been like,
yeah.
Wow.
So also in here, random, but Yrene calls Chaol a cad. I've never heard of that before. And I looked it up and it was like, apparently it's like British or English or something. And I was like, oh, I wonder if Stacey's used that word before.
I have once or twice, but it's big in Bridgerton.
Is it?
Like, yeah, like you're a cad, yeah.
I'd never heard it. And I was like, what is that?
Yeah, cad. Yeah, that's if you read historical romance, you would have come across the word.
That's funny. So Yrene and Chaol go to see Hafisa, and we learn she's been kidnapped but has left them the key. Mm-hmm. And then we learn as they go down to the towers and all of in the tunnels and all of that it was actually a trap. And Duva is there, and Duva is Valg.
Yes, I told you something didn't feel right.
I feel like she got no page time. Like she was just a nobody.
I know, but that's why something didn't feel right, okay? Because we got to know everybody else. And with the dead sibling, I'm like, something's not adding up with the pregnant one. Like, I couldn't articulate, because I was just like, it's probably just me because I'm overthinking stuff. But something didn't sit right. And so she didn't go with them. And she said the pregnancy. And I was like, something's fishy as fuck right here. So I wasn't completely surprised, to be perfectly honest with you. Kind of figured if it was going to be anybody, it would have been her. But I didn't think it would be Valg related. I thought that she was just plotting to kill everybody off so she could have the crown. That was where I was at. Like, the Valg thing was new.
Yeah, and it's kind of, we see all the Valg everywhere else throughout the series, and they're like very evil. They're doing evil things. Yeah. They're not flying under the radar. And she was able to pretend to be her former self enough to fool most of her family. And
she was female, right? That was a female Valg, right?
Yeah.
And
so
maybe that's different.
That it's a Valg princess.
Yeah. That's the difference, right? There has to be, because I was just talking to somebody about this now. Like, men tend to be more action and women tend to be more emotional. So I'm wondering if that's kind of how that works with the Valg too.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I feel like women are better at holding back and playing a role if need be. Yeah. Like maybe seeing the bigger picture. And
yeah, you never know. How long was she? Did they say how long they're there for? She was in.
I don't think that this whole book takes longer than like a month or two. Like, it's not very long.
Because I thought she said they sent the thing for the wedding. She put it on. So that Valg hadn't been there that long.
Yeah, no. And also, so this is how we can, I guess, judge the storyline. So Nezryn and Sartak went for 3 weeks on their journey. They were probably there for a couple weeks beforehand. They went for 3 weeks, and then they extended their stay to like another 3 weeks. So if I had to guess, I would say that this whole thing is the span of like 2 months, maybe.
Oh, wow.
I mean, maybe longer, maybe shorter, but that's what I am guessing from the few time segments that we've been given.
Yeah, because that's why I was like, I'm like, how long ago was this wedding then? Did she get pregnant right away? Like, I couldn't figure it out.
Probably. So the Valg's probably been there for like, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, if I had to guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay.
So we learned that Duva is the Valg in Duva is the one that killed Tumaloon because she started suspecting her. And we learned that Erewhon had purged all of the healers, and Yrene, because she was on her journey to the Torre, had escaped that purge. And also that they believe that she is Silba's heir.
Yes. That was
Ooh.
intense, man. That was intense.
No.
She seems like she learned things very fast. She hasn't been there that long, really.
Been there for like
Like, but
maybe
she's
2
heir
years.
apparent. She's heir
Yeah.
apparent already. Like,
Yeah.
I believe it.
She's brilliant. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, she's able to heal these Vogue people with no, she didn't even really have knowledge of it. She's just like, let me go see what my power can do.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot.
A lot, a lot, a lot. In all honesty, it kind of looks like she's the key part they need to win. If you think about it, really, it's not about the fighting. It's about, yeah, it's coming at the
Yeah.
bottom.
So people who are like, oh, I'm going to skip Tower of Dawn, I'm like, you are going to be missing a very key part of this war ahead.
Yeah. I do not think you do yourself justice if you miss this book. Yes, maybe you could skip the first part if you really are not feeling it. But the second part, there's no way. Because there are so many things in this book that we didn't know. And you won't know if you don't read it. Like,
And
I'm
also,
glad I
you
read
won't
it.
even know how important Yrene is. Like,
No.
yes, essentially you could just kill everybody. But also, like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I don't want to
Yeah.
say too much.
Like,
But
I'm telling you right now, the last part of this book was probably in the top 3 of this series for me. The
yeah, I
last.
told you the last part
Good.
really makes this book really,
It's
really
good. It was real.
Yeah.
It was very hard to stop reading because I needed to pace myself because I needed to actually correlate my thoughts this time. So I'm
Yeah,
not going
I told you. I was like,
trying to say,
I told you, I was like, I finished it in like 2 days. I was like, I'm
I
already
don't
done.
blame you. I don't blame you, but I wanted to be more prepared this time because I
Yeah.
felt really unprepared last week.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. Okay, let's jump back in. Let's finish this. Let's see. Chaol and Duva kind of battle, and Chaol holds up a mirror and is hit, or she's hit with a rebounded spell. And then we think she's fallen, and then she actually just blasts out her power, and Chaol jumps in between her and Yrene and gets hit in the back.
This was, honestly, I screamed out loud. I was like, no! And
All
my
of
son was
that
sitting next
work.
to me. Yeah, and my son was sitting next to me in the chair and he fell out because I wasn't ready for that. He kind of rolled off the chair, kind of looked at me and was like, what was that? I'm like, sorry, bud.
So that actually kind of pissed me off. I'm like, what? You just had an entire book worth of kind of the most boring stuff we've read throughout this whole series, and what, for this? Again? Whatever.
God, it was priceless.
Yeah. So then, his legs aren't working. Yrene throws her sword and runs to, get Duva away from her. And I think her knife came close to Duva's stomach and she dropped it. And I'm like, well, Yrene, yeah, I get you don't want to kill a baby, but you just drop your weapon in front of her. So thankfully Hafisa comes and puts her to sleep. But then we learn that Chaol is actually dying. Yet he still somehow crawled in the other room to her.
I know. I hope somebody loves me that much. That's kind of where I was at with that.
Well, he even mentioned way before, I think whenever he started, whenever he walked, that he would have crawled to her. And I was like, well, now we see it play out.
Yeah.
But all of the healers, are touching and sending Yrene their power to try to save her. And Silba is like, he's too far gone. You owe me something. You got to pay a debt. And so we see that she has bound her life to Chaol's. So now whenever she is drained, his injury, his paralysis or whatever will flare up. And he's like, that's no burden at all. No burden. Thank you. That was so big of him.
Yeah.
What a man.
He's really come a very long way from the first book for me. He's come very far. He has found who he is, and I am all over that.
Yeah. I agree. I love Chaol now. So this is where also the storylines merge, and we learn that, the Baskets have led Nezryn and Sartak, along with, they grabbed all the healers to this area, and thankfully.
Yes.
And then Chaol sees the bond between Sartak and Nezryn, and he's just they're looking at each other, and he's like, I see you. I want you to be happy. And then they give each other a hug.
I loved that they silently communicated this stuff to each other.
Yeah, they did.
Their friendship was that strong that they knew how to talk to each other without words.
So it's funny that you said that because I was freaking out. Because right after this, on page 627, they say now that Chaol and Yrene can feel their bond between them. And on page 627, They're mind speaking. There are no quotations. And so I'm like, well, wait a second. He just did that with Nezryn. So I went back and I read the ones with Nezryn, and theirs are more basic, generic. Like they understand each other and they're pretty simple. But if you go look at Yrene and Chaol's on page 627, they're legit having full blown conversations. So
You know what? I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
Me too.
It's cute.
But I did notice that they were also, Nezryn and Chaol were speaking or understanding what they were saying too.
They were interpreting what they were saying.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm pretty sure that Chaol and Yrene can mind speak now through their bond, which is
I hope we get to see. I want to see more of that in the next book. I want to see how everybody kind of their relationships have progressed.
Yeah, I didn't notice that on my first read through, so I don't know if it continues in the second book, and like maybe I just wasn't paying attention because I wasn't deep diving. But
well, now you've said that. Now that's something I can keep an eye out.
I'll be able to pay attention this time for sure.
Yeah.
So Yrene heals Duva and sees the Valg's true form, and we learn it's a princess and not a prince. Yep. And also the baby's healthy and human, which is awesome.
Yes. I was wondering how that would, because I was wondering about that with Dorian. So now at least, I
wonder what would have happened. I wonder if, because Yrene wouldn't have stayed. So if the baby was part Valg, I feel like she would have wanted to stay to like try to take the Valg out and save the baby whenever the baby is born. Yeah. So that would have put her in like a conflicting situation. Like, do I stay or do I go? Because who else can pull this out?
But then at the same time, that's one baby over everybody.
The world. Yeah. I think she would have ended up going and maybe like trying to teach one of the healers that stayed behind how to do it.
Or maybe bring Duva with her. Like that might have been an option too for when the baby was born. Yeah. I don't know. True. That would have been a really... That's very insightful. Your mind works in a fabulous way.
Second time. I'm just paying attention to everything. But thank you. So they are they're going now. They have 1,000 Rook Riders. They have Hussar in her ships. And they have 300 healers as a favor for saving Duva's life. So they're actually bringing their own armies just like they needed. But one thing that I absolutely loved is whenever Hussar agreed to send her ships, it was to protect Duva. And I love that they have this like unspoken rule between all the siblings that they're like, not Duva. Like, we'll take care of her. Like, she's our baby.
Yeah.
And I know in part one, I talked so much about like how their hierarchy is earned by killing off their siblings and stuff. And this gives me so much hope that maybe this set of siblings will do things differently. So
it certainly feels that way because look at how they reacted to the potential suicide of one of their siblings. Everybody dealt with that loss in a really compounded way. So it wasn't just like, oh, good, that's one extra one gone. That you could feel that their loss was really acute. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be different this time around.
Yeah, different. So that's a positive. Another positive is that Nezryn has gotten a rook. She got Salki.
I was so glad. I was so worried, like when she said, "Well, I'm not staying," that that wasn't going to happen. I was so glad it did. So glad.
That's where she belongs. Like, just from step one, and her even. Sartak was like, no, I've never found the right girl because they've always, been scared of Kadara or feigned interest in her. Or whatever. So we see from the beginning that Nezryn's like, oh my God, I love this. Oh, I love flying. I feel so free. That's her place. That's where she belongs. Yeah. So also her family has made it. Awesome. Yes. And then Sartak is appointed heir, which he's the rightful choice. Honestly, he's the only one that has like a 100% level head on his shoulders. And I mean, Caution also, yes, but I don't think maybe Caution has the same intelligence level or willingness to go the extra mile that Sartak does.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one because I kind of felt that they're more of a passive way of doing things, whereas Sartak likes to push it forward. He's more, let's do this. Whereas Caution seems like it's like, I'm just going to watch this for a sec.
Yes. Yeah. So if Sartak and Nezryn are together, if we do all this, we'll be what? What was the Coggan's wife? Was she Empress? Was that her role or her title?
I think so.
I think it was Empress. I'll have to go back and look, but she would be what? Empress Nezryn?
Yeah.
It's an awesome title.
I think that suits her. I think that makes sense to me. I think that makes sense. I think the pairing is perfect. I think they would rule beautifully. She's got links to other places too, so she's already... knows Yrene. I think that would make a lot of sense, to be honest with you. From like when everything calms down.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, me too.
So then as they're leaving Caution comes and talks to Yrene and, they part on good ways. They're friends. Yeah. And it also says here she understands. So I kept saying she understands because like in the beginning, Yrene said that healing is not fixing, it's understanding. And so we see that like ripple through, her, Chaol, Caution, everybody at some point throughout this book understands. So they've all healed and are better people for it. So
Right.
it's kind of nice. And then we learn that Yrene and Chaol got married. She's Lady Westfall.
I know, that's so cute. I love the fact that he hates his title and he keeps calling her that.
Using it. It's cute, right?
It is
But
adorable.
I think it'll make him not hate his title to come. Now he has a positive to tie to it. So maybe that's why he's doing it too, because it'll solidify it as not a negative thing in his mind.
Yeah. She's the positive in a negative scenario. I just felt really bad because I bet Dorian would have liked to have seen his best friend get married. Not having his people there must have been a little devastating, I guess. But why wait? Why wait?
Yeah, well, I mean, his people can meet his person, later down the road. So I don't know, Rowan and Aelin went and got married without anybody there.
That was strategic, though. That was strategic for me. They didn't go there going, I want to marry you because if I die on the battlefield, I want to die married to you. It wasn't like that. She had a plan.
No, but whenever he was asking her, like, you have a place on my ship, and she was like, well, what place? And he's like, well, which place do you want? Like, that was kind of leading into, I want to be your wife, or I don't know if she said that. It jumped ahead, but.
Yeah. But obviously she did, because otherwise she would have said, this is too soon, man. We've only known you like 5 minutes. Calm down.
So then she reads a note from Aelin, and she's going to get rid of it, and Chaol sees it and is like, oh, I know that handwriting.
Yeah.
Do you think, were you happy that he didn't tell her who it was and that he's going to wait for the big reveal?
You know what? I hated it. The whole way through this book, I hated it until that moment, because I think that's going to be a defining moment for when they finally meet and Aelin gets to see what she did for her and how it got her through the darkness, got her through this note. I don't know. I was like, I get it now. And I'm glad Chaol didn't tell her, because I think that would have been nice for them to find each other organically.
It'll be a happy surprise. But also, so like there's all these moments of like, I remember really, really longing for a lead Adian and Aelin's reunion, and also a lead and Aelin's reunion.
Yeah.
So SJM does a good job of like having you like anticipate and hope for these reunions, but also like, is Yrene gonna see Aelin or Lysandra? And is that gonna be weird? Like I don't know.
No,
I hope not. I actually don't, but
because she's not going to recognize her. Lysandra's not going to recognize her. Don't do that.
I mean, I don't know. I actually don't remember. So I'm just random thought that popped into my head.
No, I need her. I need them to meet properly.
Yeah. But there was one thing in here that I'm like, okay. On page 657, and it says they're on the boat and they're going away. It says that shriveled scrap of darkness within him, Chaol, shrank and fractured into nothing but dust that was swept away by the sea wind. So does that mean that the Valg darkness in him is gone? Or to me, that's what that means, right?
I think so. You know what? I think that for me, that because he knew about it was Aelin at that point, right? He realized just what kind of a person Aelin has always been. That she did something for the woman he loves before he knew her. So I think that was the last little bit of darkness that was holding him hostage is now gone.
I guess so, but then what does that mean for, the debt that that's separate. The debt that
that's completely separate. Okay. Yeah. What they've done with the goddess is completely separate. I don't think that's going to change that. But I just think, because she said that tiny piece is still there and that's for you to manage. Well, I think he abolished it in that moment. Okay, yeah. That's good. It's gone now. And maybe that was the hope of what he lost. Now he's realizing that actually if Aelin hadn't done that, Yrene wouldn't have been there. He would never have found his true love.
And he wouldn't have healed either, because what other healer would have been able to stick with his, attitude and put him in his place and then also have the talent to heal him?
That is very true. I think she was it. I don't know. I really love how Aelin, even unwittingly, somehow has touched the lives of people in such an impactful way that we see it later. Yeah. I'm really glad that we got to see Yrene again, though.
What'd you say?
So I'm so glad we got to see Yrene again, though, because I really enjoyed her in Assassin's Blade.
Me too. She and Aelin's interaction is what made me fall in love with Aelin in the first place. And I remember being like, I need to see Yrene again. I really do. Yeah. I need to see her again. I'm always so intrigued by the healer's stories, though. So I love it.
Are we going to get more of that in the next book? Like the
next
healer stuff?
book has everything. The next book is the last book. So
It is a mammoth of a monster book, okay?
isn't it
Because this is the part.
So good, though. Like, you are going to feel such a wide range of emotions reading this book, but she does such a good job with like keeping things so exciting and so action packed and so meaningful. And
I'm already, because I had to get going, so otherwise I was never going to get through. I'm already on chapter 9, so I don't think it's
I didn't start it yet.
I had to, because I have so many other things I got to do. I'm like, if I don't start, I might not be able to get it done. But when I started reading, I'm like, I don't know why I was worried. There's no way I'm not going to be blasting through this book, because it's good.
So Tower of Dawn ends with Maeve stepping up and being like, all right, Karen and Aelin, let's begin. So I'm assuming that's probably where you started off in Kingdom of Ash. I don't remember where it starts, but I'm pretty sure that's where it starts.
Yeah, we get the, like, him, Rowan, like his little blurb, and then her little blurb, and then it's funny because I've been dying to get to this point where we're on the final book, and now it's here, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm ready for this to be over.
Yeah. There are lots of good series. Like, we are doing, we'll do... You haven't done Crescent City, and honestly, Throne of Glass is superior to Crescent City, in my opinion, but Crescent City's not done. So,
yeah.
But...
I don't know,
there's lots of good series.
I know, but I'm a little bereft, I guess. Normally by this point, I'm like, I'm so ready for everything to be tied up so I can move on. But I don't feel that way.
You kind of want to savor it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't feel ready to let Aelin go. I don't feel ready to let Chaol go. I don't feel ready to let Dorian go. I want to see more about the witches. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna be a little heartbroken. And
in my opinion, I feel like the last book, Dorian has so much character growth. That looking back at the series, like, and how much I love Dorian as a character, looking back at it, I feel like we haven't gotten it yet. I feel like so much of his comes in this last book. So
yeah, he's kind of like hit that drop off right now. Like in the last book he was in, I kind of felt like he'd lost his way a bit. He's still trying to figure how to live now after the aftermath. So I'm really hoping we see more of him come back.
Yeah, it's such a good book. I cannot wait.
I'm excited. Like I said, though, I'm not quite ready for it to be done. It's going to be a hard couple weeks for me, especially when I get to the end. It's going to be a hard couple weeks. You're going to
need to also make sure you have some tissues with you for the next couple podcasts, because
I should probably be doing that anyway.
It's not really a spoiler to tell you that, things can make you cry in the last book, but there's like 2 or 3 books in my life that I've sobbed so hard that I'm like, and like can't breathe, and this is one of them.
Okay, I will be prepared. I think I have a box of Kleenex somewhere from when the kids were last sick, so I'll have it next to it. I will definitely probably get another 100 pages done at least today.
Well, cool. I'm imperative. I've been waiting because I finished Tower of Dawn a week ago or something. It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, I was still playing catch up. Like, I finished. When did I finish this? A couple days ago, I think. Yeah.
I started Zodiac Academy.
Yeah, how you loving that?
I'm almost done with the second book, and I actually am enjoying it. The writing's not great, and it is kind of like a trashy TV show, like a trashy reality TV show.
Yeah.
Like, it's very immature, I guess. But it's also, I feel like there's so much room for it to go. Like, it makes sense that the series is as long as it is because there's so many different factors. There's the elements, there's the orders, there's so many different things that I'm like, okay, I'm super stoked to see where it goes.
I think I finished book 4, and then I needed to take a break. Book 4 was really good.
Was it? Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I enjoyed it. Good, because some people are like that you either like it or you don't like it. Like, a lot of people are complaining about the bully romance.
I don't love that, but it makes sense because technically they're in high school or college or whatever.
Basically, they're
kids. I mean, it makes sense. I think it's a little too far, but I'm starting to understand why. So it is what it is. I don't like one of the heirs, but
I think you're not supposed to anyway. I went back and forth. I did the dramatic version of the audiobooks.
I did too, but I'm having a really hard time with it because I like to listen and read at the same time. and it's not the same.
It's
they
not.
cut
They
out
cut
multiple paragraphs,
stuff
they
out.
flip things around, they change words, and I'm like, why?
I didn't know they did that until somebody mentioned it with Fourth Wing. They're like, yeah, it's not. It's not.
See, this is my very first dramatized adaptation of it, so I've never done that before. And I do really like, the background noise and the sounds and, like, feeling like you're there, but I don't like that it doesn't match it.
But not when you can't read it. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
All good. I'm kind of getting used to it. I just have to slow it down a little bit. So instead of listening and reading at like 2.5, I'm doing it at like 1.75. So I can have time to kind of jump around with my eyes while I'm listening.
Yeah, that's smart. That's very smart. I still haven't quite got the immersive reading thing down. I can do a few chapters at a time, and then I have to do one or the other. So it's whatever one drew me in the most, whether it be reading or listening, then I have to. But I'm slowly getting there.
I love it. I love it. Once you get there and once you get the hang of it, at least for my brain, it works out. It's better.
Lots of people love it, and somebody turned around and said it feels like you're getting the best of the both worlds. So you're getting the stories impacting you harder, and I'm like, I really want that, but I don't have the skills yet.
That is a benefit for sure, but the biggest benefit for me is the cutting out of the background noise. I cannot focus with background noise.
Yeah, I bet. My husband was like, well, it would really help when you have to like know how to say a word too.
And I love that too, because whenever I was first reading Throne of Glass, everybody said Manon, which, I did too, but Elide, I was like,
yeah.
Elide. And I was like, all right, Elodie.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. And then I found out it was Elide, and I was like, Elodie's way prettier.
Yeah. So that really helps. So it's definitely something I'm practicing, but it's one of those skills I haven't mastered yet, because either I'm listening too fast and I can't read it quick enough, or I'm reading too quick and it's not, like, the listening is not caught up.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, I need to practice more.
But also, the audio could screw you over and make you say wyverns instead of wyverns. So,
That's true. You know what? I've caught a few different narrators saying words wrong even. Like, that's not how you say it. And you're like, how does somebody not catch that?
Well, it makes me wonder, too, like, how do they get the name pronunciation correct? Do they reach out to the author?
They'd have to. But how did it get missed? Like, who edited this shit that they missed that?
I don't know. People miss things in editing, though. Like,
that's true. Yeah, but hearing
I found that typo in Tower of Dawn Part 1.
Yes, you did. But you'd think hearing it that you would catch that.
Hearing it 100 times.
Yeah. You know what? After a while, you probably get blind to it.
I didn't think anything of it until I heard you saying it differently, and I was like,
I was really hoping you were wrong, because I hate being wrong. And I'm like,
I think I've corrected myself now, but still every now and then whenever I hear it on the audio, I'm like, and I'll catch myself saying it. I'm like, no, why, wyvern?
Because it's Fourth Wing. They say wyvern.
They do in Fourth Wing as well. They do in Fourth Wing. I haven't done the audiobook of that.
I did the dramatic version of that too, because I had to. I wanted to hear like action.
I've heard that one is really good.
It's perfect. It was perfect, because I was like, shall I read it or listen? I'm like, I'm gonna listen. I'll listen. And then I read it off, and I'm like, I'm so glad.
The first time I read it, I read Fourth Wing, and my friend had the audio, like not the dramatized one, but the audio of Iron Flame, and so I listened to that. And I was like, I made it like a third of the way through, and I was like, I want to read it. So I ended up buying the book. But
yeah. Sometimes it works that way. Sometimes that happens. I was listening to an audiobook, what was it? The Dutch House. And I was like, oh, Tom Hanks. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. I ended up reading it because that was better.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want him to narrate my books. Wait, he narrated it?
Yeah, he narrated that book, and I was so excited. I waited so long for my Libby Hold, and I'm like, this is trash. I'm going to kill myself if I continue. And I sent it back, and I ended up buying the book, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
The narrator can make or break it, depending.
Yeah. But I love Tom Hanks. But yeah, that just did not work for me even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
I'm super excited. I'm going to go read some Kingdom of Ash.
Yeah, you can now. We're ready to go.
Waiting.
We really are enjoying doing these deep dives with you guys. We hope that you are enjoying it as well. You can find us on our social medias. Hannah is on Instagram at @TheTopplingTBR_Hannah. That's HANNA. You can find me there too at @TheTopplingTBR_Stacy. We have a Facebook page. I'm not as diligent as updating that one as I should be, but there is some stuff to look at. That's at @TheTopplingTBR. You can find us on YouTube at @TheTopplingTBR and on Spotify as well. We hope that you have a great reading week, guys, and we will catch you on Sunday.
See you later.
Take care, guys.